Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I've finally got my courage up to start on the cover of Laurie Richard's Mermaid Journal. I've got out the supplies that I'm planning to use. It may not all go on there, but this is my thought at the moment. I didn't get out my alcohol inks. I need those too. So I have some alcohol inks and some sprays that I didn't get out, but I'll get those out when they're appropriate. I just now realized I didn't have them. I was trying to have everything out here so you could see it. But this is what we're going to start with. And I know you're looking at these and thinking trees and birds don't belong in the ocean, but we're going to make them belong in the ocean. I'll show you how in a little bit. Alrighty. I'm going to move stuff out of the way, and we're going to start out by gessoing the cover, reinforcing it and gessoing it, and then we'll move on to the other stuff. So I'm going to pause the video just a second while I move this stuff around so you don't have to sit and wait on me to do that. Okay, if you're ever lucky enough to have somebody mail you something in a tie-back envelope, hold on to it because this is really strong stuff. It stretches a little bit. It doesn't really tear easy, and it's perfect for reinforcing the spine on a book because it just doesn't weigh much, and it will form to fit your book nicely. So that's what I'm going to use to reinforce the back of this book. And you just have to, glue it down. When I took this book off, I just cut it right here. And as you can see, that's kind of raggedy there. And so I'm going to try to trim it a little bit closer. You don't want to make the mistake of getting so close you mess up the spine of your book. But okay, let's see if I can make that one a little smoother. The nicer it looks underneath, the nicer it looks on top. Okay. And I'm going to use, trying to decide, I want a really good glue. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this art glitter glue to glue this down. And I'm just going to, I need a card. Let me get that out so I'll have it to press everything down. Okay. And you want to go right by the edges because you want the edges to be glued down. And I've seen people do this with Mod Podge, and you can. If I was gonna Mod Podge papers over the top of it, then I would probably Mod Podge right over the top of this too. But I'm gonna glue papers in on top of it rather than, well, you glue when you Mod Podge. But I'm gonna glue a solid sheet of paper into it. So I'll just use probably this same glue to glue that in. I really love this art glitter glue. It glues everything, just about. I haven't tried it to glue in big beads or something like that, but for paper and cardboard and fabric and ribbons, and it does great on all of those things, which is the most of what I glue down. So I got mine at Amazon. There are probably other places you can find it, but and I'm trying to make this go, even with the papers here. And we want to start with the center and glue the center down really good because it's kind of indented. And that card is just the perfect width to make sure that's glued down good. And it's not like working with a piece of paper where you have to worry you're going to rip it trying to get it down good. So just go ahead and work it good. And then we're going to go up here and glue it. Make sure it's down really good here too. And if you use a card like this, it'll spread that glue out underneath it and take it to the edges really well. So. All right. That's really nice. It doesn't, you know, from the outside you can't tell I did anything, but it'll be a lot stronger book because of it. I'm going to move the glue out of the way here. And then we're going to gesso the front. This is a fabric, so it's not terribly smooth. It is just a tad slick. I may run over it with just a little bit of sandpaper, but it doesn't take much, not like it does when something's really slick. Let's see if I can find a little piece we can just use real quick. Okay, here's a little bit, and this is a pretty fine grit. So I'm just gonna I don't know if we really need to worry about these little indentions, but since we did everything else, it'd be sad if the gesso didn't adhere there. Okay, and I'm gonna just wipe it off a little bit here because it does get grit when you do that. All right, let's dry this down. Okay. Boy, it's amazing how it was kind of rough to begin with, but it definitely, it's definitely a little rougher now. So hopefully that's a good thing. And now we're going to put our gesso on it. And trying to decide how important full coverage is for me on here, you know, for it to be smooth. On this part, I want it to be pretty white because I'm going to put this down on top of it, and I don't really want it to show that that there's paper there. So I'm going to do a pretty good job there. So we'll just use a brush over the whole thing just to be safe. On the rest of it, I'm going to paint it blue, kind of a turquoisey blue, so it doesn't have to look as neat as this right here in the middle of the front. Let me get that. And we want to brush, do it on the sides of the book too. After it dries, I'll turn it over and do it around the brown so that the paint and everything will go where, you know, go inside the book like it was made this way on purpose. Okay. Trying to get it smooth. That's the hardest part for me, is to get the whole thing smooth. I'm glad I'm not worried about the rest of it being smooth. And I'm not really, to be honest, worried about this whole thing, just what's going to be inside the window. And since I'm not sure exactly how big that's going to be, I want to want to do a pretty good job. Okay, let me clean this up so I don't get it messy. We're going to paint inside and add paper, so it probably really doesn't matter, but it makes me feel better to know I kind of took care of it here. Okay. Now we're going to do the back. And this, I'm not going to be able to completely finish the book, the cover, because I want to put some embellishments on the spine, some jewels, and even though I'm going to do a hidden spine and bind it, sew my signatures inside it rather than right on top here, I will need the to be able to set it down on its spine to glue those in. So I'm going to do the spine last. I'm still thinking about the back cover. I have an idea, but I'm not sure if it'll work. So it's one of those things you kind of have to try it out to see. So when I get there, I'll kind of audition it and see if it's going to work. But right now, I'm just okay. Put this in some water. Put the lid back on this. Come on. And now I need to find a place to lay this where it won't bother anything. Alrighty. The next thing I want to do is put alcohol ink on these transparencies. That's going to be our water that our little mermaid is floating in. Cubby bud, you're going to have to move. You're in the way. I'm sorry, hon. Go lay by the door. Go lay down. Every time I get out of my chair, he thinks I'm going in, and really, I'm just trying to keep from walking on him. And my studio's too small for as big as my dog is, but anyway. Okay, I'm going to put quite a bit of alcohol ink on this because I want it to cover the whole thing. And I don't mind the little bit of brush marks because that just gives it an illusion of movement. I think I like that. Let's see. Gotta find another place to lay stuff. That one is Adirondack alcohol ink. It's called Mermaid. Seems appropriate, doesn't it? And I'm going to have to clean my brush, or my blue color will end up being mixed, and I don't really want to mix it, so. We only want alcohol ink on one side of these transparencies because we're going to put the alcohol ink side down towards the cover. That way we won't have any alcohol ink that can rub off from the top, and that'll make the cover safer, I guess is an appropriate word. Not gonna be able to get all that out probably, but okay, that's pretty good. Put that up there. We might decide to use that for something. Now I'm going to use the Sailboat Blue. That's what this one is. What you need, hon?
I just learned that a 16th century translation of The Elements by Euclid came with pop-outs in the 3D geometry sections.
Well, sounds like fun. Uh-oh. I got some bubbles here. See that? I don't know if you can see the bubbles when I sprayed that alcohol. But I think I'm going to leave it. I think it'll just add some texture, but I'm going to protect it. All right. Let's put this one over here to dry. Just 1 minute. Okay, while I was talking to my daughter, I went ahead and got ready to do the next step, and that is to colorize these. I don't want the shells and the little critters to all be the same color, even though I like them being colorful, and I'm going to have colorful stuff. But I want them there to be some differences. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to take the birds off. And I'm going to leave their legs on them so I can use them for something else another day. So there's that one. And this one I'm going to go ahead and take its legs off because I want to have that. But this little bird, I can still use him, put him in a nest or something. So he's still usable. And I'm going to make these 2 different colors, like they're 2 different kinds of coral. And that's what I'm planning to do, is turn them into coral. Um, and I think on this one I want to make it shorter. So I'm also going to cut it right here and then try to round the edges just a tad. So I'll have these two little pieces and then this one big piece. So I can have two different colors of coral and kind of fill up the bottom of the thing. That's my thinking right now. So I'm going to go ahead and paint these so those can dry, and then I'll work on spraying these to paint them another color. I think I'm going to do this big one pink and these two small ones copper. So I got these Dr. P.H. Martin's iridescent colors. This is Rose Lamé. This is some that I got on the 75% off sale at Hobby Lobby. I used the copper Monday night on my live stream, and it was gorgeous. So I'm hoping this pink will be too. It looks like it is if you're a pink person. I'm really not a huge pink person, but if I'm going to use pink, I want it to be pretty and iridescent and all of that. So this is white cardboard, so it's not taking the color just really well. So I may end up having to do 2 coats of it. Yeah, I think I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and then we'll come back and do another coat. And these are they just say they're non-fading. They don't say what they're made out of. I don't know if it will somewhere if I take off this price tag. Let's look and see just in case. I don't think so. I think it's just a barcode. So I'm not going to tell you what they're made out of. I know Doc Martens has watercolors, so these may be watercolor. They don't say. Well, that's really shimmery. I don't know if you can see it. It's real pretty, real pretty. I think it's going to make some pretty coral. It's not going to be realistic, but mermaid books, you know, what makes you think a mermaid book should be realistic anyway? All right. Now we're going to get this copper and do the same thing with it. It worked really well on my paper last night, but it's like I said, this kind of cardboard doesn't take the paint as well, so hopefully a second coat will. If not, we'll come back and dab it on like that. Oh, that actually is working pretty good. I may just go ahead and do that since I don't have to copper up my brush again. This makes a really heavy coat doing it like this, so it's gonna take a while to dry, but that's all right. I got other things to do, so it can. Okay, I think I like that. The copper, I think, is a little thicker than the pink. Okay, they definitely come clean in the water, so. All right. I think before I set these aside, I'm going to go ahead and redo the pink one too. That way they can both be drying at the same time. Rolls around. Looks kind of like nail polish. I thought about using nail polish, and that's what I would have used if I hadn't found these. And nail polish probably would have been a little easier to get it to stay on. But this is working, and I get to use my new toys. So we got double good out of it. Alrighty, I like that. Okay, I'm going to move these little pieces here so I can set this somewhere to dry. Here, let's do this. So I can go ahead and use this part for spraying and set them aside on this. Okay. I think I'm going to do all the shells. It's a combination of these browns. I don't know how it's going to look because it's over purple. It may end up being a mistake, but well, that doesn't look good. So let's get a paper towel and dab that off and see if it'll look better if we do that. Okay, it didn't dab off very good, did it? I'm going to go ahead and add this to it. And then we're probably going to have to come back with some white or some gesso or something and tone these back down because now they're really dark. But they're not purple. That's for sure. We'll let them dry and see what they look like. I think a little bit of white on them will... They're drying a little lighter, so I think a little bit of white on them will look good. Okay, now we've got an octopus and a crab and a lobster. And we don't want to use these brown ones for those. Let me move these over where the coral is drying. Okay, that way we can spread these out because I think I'm going to do them three different colors. Each one a different color. Let's see if we can say that. Okay. Now I've got a blue that is kind of a turquoisey blue. And then I've got this, looks like orange, but it's really yellow. and this that is pink. So we got cyan, magenta, and this is a iridescent yellow. So I think I'm going to do the octopus with the iridescent yellow. And we'll see how he looks. No, I'm going to do him the blue. Let's see how the... Oh, well, now it's not going to spray. That's not happy. But you can see it's a really pretty yellow. Okay, well, we'll just do it this way then. Maybe we'll use a brush. Now he's turning brown because he's on top of purple. I should have known that was going to happen. But he's glittery. We'll add some pink. And I think that'll help him out some. But I don't want him to be the same color as the lobster. So having this underneath will at least make sure he's not the same color as the lobster. It's all an experiment. Everything with me is an experiment. He looks kind of like a copper metallic guy. We'll definitely add some red onto him in a minute. Okay. Now let's see if we can get the pink to spray. He's definitely a different color than he was. He's not just purple. But I don't know, it added a little depth. It doesn't look any worse than it did, so that's good. We're not messing them up anyway. They're just going to be a little bit different kind of fun. All right. Now we turn this guy very blue. We'll see what color he is when we get finished. I mean, when he dries. That ink, it really sticks to you. Okay, get rid of that paper. That's definitely paid its dues. Okay. Let's see how our book cover's looking. It's not dry. This side's pretty dry. This side's not so much. We're going to dry it a little bit with a heat gun. Okay, I'm not even going to worry about drying that right now because I'm really concentrating on painting the back. And I'm going to paint, I'll paint the blue, the turquoisey color a little bit around here. And then I'm going to do kind of a sandy color on the bottom. And I'm going to try to do it not evenly so it looks like sand. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that under here because I'm going to have sand and the shells down here. So, so let's put the sprays up. And we're going to use Topaz Metallic for the water and Beachcomber Beige for the sand. And I need a brush for that. Okay. I'm going to start with the sand color, and then I can, if the water mixes a little bit on top of it, it's not a big deal. Paint the edges. Pick this up here. That way I can turn it around to paint the turquoise color, and I won't end up making a mess. Okay. I'm going to just take it off the back to color the edges of the front cover. May have to do some touch up on the in-between parts here, especially since I'm not certain exactly what I'm going to do. Ooh, wasn't dry. I forgot it wasn't dry. That may have been a little bit too wide a border. I hope not. Actually, I think I can go in a little bit because it's just going to have the alcohol ink thing over the top of it. So if it's darker around the edges, it won't be a problem. Okay. Make sure I go it all the way around the edges. Now I'll put this back over there to dry again. I hope y'all are enjoying what we're doing so far. I'm looking forward to seeing it come together. Check my stuff that's drying and see. I think I can go ahead and paint on these a little bit. And then we'll, I'm going to use this beach comber because it's not white. If I decide I want some white, I can always add a little white and give it a little bit more depth. But I just want to make it maybe not. It's kind of hard to hold these. Okay, I think I like that one. And we're going to maybe just do some streaks in like this on this one. Like that. And I have no idea what this one's supposed to look like, so I'm just going to get a pretty dry brush and just kind of and then let's see if we can dab off a little bit of it. And that's what we're going to let that one look like. And I think while we're working on this a little bit, I'm going to... Boy, he looks very gold, doesn't he? I kind of like him like that. I'm not sure if I want to add any. I don't... Let me see how close he matches this color. Not really. I think I may put a little bit of gold over this magenta rather than putting magenta over the gold, so it can have a little bit of sparkle. I just realized though this won't spray. And oh yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's dip way down to the bottom to really get that gold. Let's see if we can. I hope this doesn't make it just look exactly like the other one. If it does, we'll have to come in with something else and make it redder. Okay. This is going to take a few minutes probably to dry till we can tell what he's going to look like. Actually, I think I'm just going to spray a little more of that pink over the top of him, and then maybe um, the gold and the pink will be happy together. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, I'm going to put these back over there and let them dry. And I'm just going to pause the video and let everything dry, and then we'll move on to the next step. And that'll be kind of putting our little window to the undersea world, to the mermaid's world, onto our cover. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, it's been a couple of days since I painted this, and it's had plenty of time to dry because I had other things I had to do. But now I'm back to work on it. But before I put anything on the cover on the outside, I need to go ahead and cover the inside because it'll be a lot easier to do now while everything's flat. So I've got these papers, and I've got two of them. I'm going to have one that I'm going to cut to fit coming from this direction. And then I'm going to have one coming from this direction. And they're going to meet right here. And then when I bind it, you won't even see this part because there'll be an insert right there that I'm binding to that I will glue in. So I'm going to cut this and glue it on back here. I think you know how to glue stuff down and how to cut paper, so I'm not going to bore you with that because I know this is already getting to be a really long video. So I'll be right back. Okay, I got all my stuff together here. Just let me go ahead and show you this side first. On this side, I put a bead of glue right there, and then I put glue on the paper. And it worked a lot better than this side where I just put glue on the paper and then tried to push it down. So if you're ever trying to do the crease right here, go ahead and put a bead of glue in that crease. It just works better. It glues itself down better. Anyway, I think that's going to look nice inside. And we're going to start by gluing down our mermaid. My plan for this is for her to be in the background. It's our first glimpse of a mermaid in this book, and so we want her way back in the back, so that it's just a glimpse. And that's how we're going to start out our book, with just a glimpse of a mermaid. And now I'm going to go ahead and put this piece kind of in front of her because we're wanting to build layers towards us. The very final layer will be a few things on top of both layers of the water, so they'll be really close to us. But we're going to start with this, and I'm just going to glue it down with some of this art glitter glue. One moment. Okay, I paused the video to talk to my daughter, and then I just went ahead and glued this down without realizing that my video was still paused. I'm going to go ahead and put this one also down at this point. Yeah, right up there. When you try to kind of audition things on here, you get an idea of what they're going to look like, but it's never really quite the same as when you actually go ahead and glue them down. So, okay, there's the first layer. And so you can see her, and she's behind this, which pushes her even further back. And then we're going to glue this down. I need to trim off that. Just a little bit. Okay. I'm probably going to have to put something heavy on top of this to get it to stay down. Um, I think actually it goes like this. Yeah. Okay. I'm just putting a little bead of glue right along the edges. The glue dries clear, so it'll hide itself. See if I can zoom in a little bit closer. There we go. Oh, I meant to put some of these gems. They're going to be our bubbles. I meant to put them behind there, but I didn't. So I'm just going to stick a few on here. Okay, I thought those were supposed to be sticky. All right, I'm just going to put a few dots. And we'll put these down. I probably put too many of them. I meant to put them on some on each layer. But I put all my glue on this layer, so they may all be on this layer. Let me find the tweezers. Oh, they're glued in rows. Well, I don't want them in rows, so they do actually have stickum stuff on them. They're just made to be used differently than how I'm using them. So these are not the best tweezers in the world either. So sorry I'm having so much trouble with those. I thought that part was going to go really fast. Okay, got some bubbles on there. And now I want to put this one. I'm going to put the rest of these critters on top of this, but underneath the second layer. And then I'll put a few little fish on top of the second layer, so we'll have it 3 layers deep. This little octopus, he's got a little bit of glittery stuff on him. I don't know if that'll even show once we get him on here, but um, in concept, the layers worked really well. In actuality, I don't know if they're going to work so well because of the um, trying to glue the acetate down on top of all this stuff may be hard, but oh, I intended to put this one over here. Sorry. I'm going to put him coming this direction. Okay. And we're going to put this one on top of all of that. I think it's going to look good. If we can get it to stay down, it'll look good. Okay. Okay, it's kind of hard to get all 4 sides down. Okay. I'm going to have to hold it a minute. We're going to put some plaster on top of this so the edges of the acetate will be hidden. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and just hold this a little while. There's no reason for you to watch me do that. Be back in a minute. Okay, it's dry. I just thought I'd show it to you if I can keep it from glaring. This is what it looks like so far. And I'm going to put some spackling. I decided to use spackling instead of plaster of Paris because it's not nearly as wet and it dries a lot faster, so there shouldn't be as much buckling of the board. So that's what I decided to do. I'm going to put some down here that's painted this sand color, and then I'm going to put some up here that's painted the watercolor. This is called topaz. What I'm calling water is topaz, and beachcomber beige is the sand color. And and I'm going to put some shells in it. Now I've got two different kinds here. Both of them came from Dollar Tree. This is the kind that I've been buying for years there. It's called Tool Bench Lightweight Spackling. And this is their, no, this is the new one. This is the new one made by Tool Bench. It doesn't weigh anything. I mean, I literally think that the whole weight you're holding in your hand is the container. um, it will dry a lot faster than the other one. This one says it takes 30 minutes to dry. This one says it takes 1 to 4 hours to dry. The Max Patch is what I've been buying at Dollar Tree for a long time. I don't have confidence in this holding up. So I'll go to Walmart or somewhere and find some more of this if the Tool Bench brand doesn't work. But I put some of it on here. This is the Tool Bench brand, the new kind that doesn't weigh hardly anything. This is the regular kind. And I don't know if you can tell, they're both glaring pretty good. Ah, well, this one is not as white as that one is. And I haven't actually mixed paint in either one of these, but I'm going to have to do that when I use them. So I probably should do a test on that too. But I put a shell in each one of these and put it on this piece of cardboard, and I'm going to see how well it holds up once it's dry. I want to know how things are going to be before I put it on here. I don't want to mess this up because I didn't think of something that could have been important. So I'm going to put paint in some of these and put them on another card and see how they compare to these when they're dry. And then when they're all dry and several hours from now, then we'll decide what we're going to do about which kind to use. So that's that. This did glue down just fine, and it does look dimensional like I wanted it to, so I'm happy about that. All the little things in the front push her to the background, which is what I wanted. Now on this side, I wanted to put this lace because it looks like ocean waves to me. I want some on the back and then some on the side. But it also looks like it could be partly sand and partly waves. And so I cut some of it apart. And I think if I do it like this, it looks like these waves are rolling in and this is the sand. And then so I thought if I did two of them on this page, I want to do two. Yeah, I want them to be alternating like that, like their waves are coming and going. And then, so I'll have to trim that right there if I do this. And then here I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put this. Or maybe just that. I want it to cover up this break though, so I'll probably, because that's what's happening here, I'll probably go ahead and do it like this and let it cover up that break. And then I'll put I'll probably one of the pieces of jewelry will probably go on top of this one. There's one that has blue in it that I think is about that same color as the blue in this lace, so that'll look good. Over here, I really think I like this. I think it looks like waves, so I think I'm happy with that. Let's see if we turn it this way, then we can go ahead and have I think that's what I was going to do, so that it's come in different directions. I also, it goes, this is the lace if we just use it like it is, which looks really pretty, but it doesn't look as much like waves like this, I don't think. And I don't think it breaks the I don't think it looks like waves breaking on the ocean like as much as this does. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to put, oh, let me find it. I have two, so I'm going to have to choose. Okay. I've got mermaid tails here. So it could look like the mermaid is swimming away. And that'll be the back of the book. I don't know if you can see that because of the glare. There you go. Like she's swimming away. So there's the front where you're going to get a peek, and there's a peek of her leaving. And that's my plan for the book, along with these. Like that. Or maybe they'll be better like this. But I'm not going to try to have it overlap because I don't think it'll work well in that crease. But I thought that we could carry that on. And I may just do one like that and put one of the jewelry in it, since I don't have any down here. But I wanted something pretty on the back, but I don't want it to be dimensional. I want it to be able to lay flat on the back. So let's see. I think I'm just going to do this one. I don't know. I really like it. That looks better though. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, the other mermaid tail that I have, I really like this green one. It really shows up on there. But this one does too. It's just not as colorful. Although it looks more like it's going down into the water. We could even have a couple of mermaids swimming away, maybe. No, I think just one. So now I got to think a minute. Do I want it to be this one? Or do I want it to be this one? I like the color of this one better, but I like the shape of that one better. So I think this is the one we're going to use right here. We'll use this one somewhere else. Plenty of stuff to do inside and to use it. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to make sure this is, find my fabric scissors. Make sure this is straight. Okay, I need to check one more thing. Now I'm trying to decide, do I want them, it looks like they're not going the same way, and the waves generally come in the same way, so I think we're going to do it like this. So we're going to put this one here, and we're going to trim it right there. That wasn't quite close enough. Let's take off a little bit more. And then we'll put this one here. And that one there. Isn't it funny that you try to decide which side you like the best? Which way do you like it the best? I think I'm going to go with it like that. And I'm just going to put some glue here because it'll dry clear. And then put that back on it. Let's make sure this is down good here. I'm not going to tuck it, but in the creases, I'm going to let it just hang over like that because I think it looks nice free. Goodness, excuse me. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Both of my kids are sick today, and I really hope I don't get it. And what they have is not really a cough, it's sore throats and fever, and don't have that, so hopefully that's good. Okay, I'm gonna wipe this extra glue off. I'm gonna press down with this. I think it'll press it into place better. A little bit of a damp baby wipe. It's amazing how good that presses the glue, stuff down onto the glue, but doesn't pull it back up like your fingers do. At least for me, it works really well. Okay. There's that one. And we're going to put this one right here. Alrighty, let's press it down. Like I said, if I don't get all the glue off, it dries clear, so. But I don't want to leave bumps of glue. And so this takes that off too, the extra. I just realized I forgot to put my mermaid tail under there. And this stuff gets tacky pretty quick, so better lift it up and put it under there. Okay. Okay. So here we are so far. I'm liking it. Now I just got to come back and put the plaster and the shells on the front. And then I'm going to leave it alone until we get the book put together. And then I'll put my jewelry and my tassel thing right here. I do need to put I need to go ahead and do that. Okay, I got to check something here. Check the height of my signatures. Okay, if I put it right up there, I should be able to do it even after the book is put together. So I'm going to wait because I'm going to put these in with another piece of, with a piece of cardboard right down the center here. And that'll strengthen this a little more before I punch my hole in it. I want it to be as strong as I can. So I'm just going to wait on that part. And I'm going to let this dry here and let this dry. And I'm going to go ahead and mix some paint in with some of this and let it dry. And we'll have all our testing done. And then we'll come back and finish the front. Be back in a little bit. Okay, new development. I didn't like that really, really lightweight new kind of spackle that they had at Dollar Tree. And they didn't have anything else. So I went to Walmart to buy some spackling because I thought I could probably get that other kind there. But they don't have that. They have some that's pink and feels plasticky. And then they've got this. And so this is, I think, pretty much the same thing as the old kind that was all dried out. So I'm just going to use it. And I'm just going to have faith. But I did notice that when I painted the spackling, when I put paint in the spackling, that it was gonna take a lot of paint to keep the same color tone. And let me show you something real quick. When I did this with the spackling, I just painted over it afterwards. And so that's what I'm going to do for the metallic color, is just paint over it after I get it on there and it's dry. But for the sand down at the bottom, I can't do that because of the shells. And I did here paint with some watercolor, but I'm going to go ahead and mix the sand color in with the spackling for the bottom, for the where the seashells are going to go. And then this up here, I'm just going to put it on like it is, and then I'm going to paint it after it dries. So we're going to go ahead and do that step. Oh, here's how the lace dried, and it's all ready to go. So I'm going to put that underneath and protect it, because I only wanted to put the spackling stuff on this front, not on the back or the side. Ideally, I don't want to get any in here, so I'm going to have to be very careful or have a baby wipe ready to wipe it out. I need to do that real quick. Get that ready. I don't want to take any chances there. Okay. And I think I'm going to put the plain on first, and then I'll put the sandy up where it kind of covers it. And we're just going to have faith that this is going to turn out okay. It says you need to stir it first. This looks pretty stirred up to me. It's very fresh. I don't know if you can see. It's very soft and fresh. So I don't think I need to stir it right now. I'm just going to put it on here. And I don't want a terribly thick coat, but I do want enough to cover up um, the edges of my plastic and to have a little texture. So I'm just going to try to take it easy here and gently um, keep it just on the front. I want it to cover up where I painted the edges of the book, because that the color change there is pretty noticeable. So it's going to be a little wider on this side than it will on the other side. Turn this so I can see it. I want this up here to be um, not really straight across. Okay, I think I like the way that looks. Let me clean this off a little bit. Then I'm going to mix some up with a little bit of paint for the sandy part down here. I want to make sure I get enough in one go because I want it to all be the same. This is going to be a little thicker because I'm going to press the seashells into it. If I get too much, it's not a big deal. This is a big old thing. They didn't even sell this in a small one, so okay, let's put the lid back on that now. I'm going to put some of this paint in it. This is already not white, so hope that wasn't too much paint. for the amount of spackling. That makes it pretty thin. I think I'm going to have to add some more, because I don't want it to weaken the chemistry of it, mess it up. I just want it to not be white or gray or whatever this will be without any paint. Okay. Yeah, that thickens it up quite a bit. Okay, I need to put something under here. That'll be a good height. That's a little bit too much. Let's see. Should have figured that out beforehand. And that's not quite enough. Oh dear. Alright, let's try this one. There we go. That's going to be good. And we're going to start by overlapping that a little bit. And a little bit on this side. Once I do this, I'm going to let it sit for a couple of days. I don't want to take any chances of it not drying well, because it's thicker than what you're supposed to do with spackling. Okay, let's see what we've got here. I want to put this in there. And I want to put this one in there. Oh dear. Didn't expect that. Okay. I can't decide if I want this one or this. I think it's going to have to be this one, because that one is too big to fit in this spot. And then we want to put a few little ones. I'm going to go ahead and put another little starfish. Oh, I have this out of the view. I'm so sorry. I had plans to put some little beads, but I decided I'm just going to stick with, since there's a bunch of these little bitty shells, I'm going to stick with those, let those be all we need here. because these are really pretty. And, oh, that's pretty. Okay. I'm going to leave that just like that. And we're going to let it have a couple of days to get good and cured. And then we will come back in and paint this part up here. I think it's going to be pretty. Alrighty, we're going to let it just sit here. Okay, it's all dry. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to paint the water. And then we're going to call this cover done. Got it. Way too much paint. Okay. Maybe not. It takes a lot of paint to cover all this texture. I think I need to turn this. Ooh, that glare. Sorry about that. Goodness gracious. Let me do it like this. Maybe the glare won't be so bad and I can see better at the same time. Just making sure I'm not messing up that paper inside. Kind of hard to make sure you have to look at it from all directions to make sure you get the all the white covered. probably should have just painted it and then shown you it finished instead of painting it right now, because it's really hard for you to see what I'm doing. But I'm already doing it now, so we're getting even close to being finished. Guess if nothing else, you'll see that it's really not that hard. Trying to get as little paint as I can on the actual um, acetate, but it's hard not to get some on there. And I guess it's okay to do it. It kind of actually makes it all blend in better if there's a little bit. I can see the paint soaking in, and so in some places it doesn't look as like it's covered as well. Um, but I really like the texture on this. It really does look watery when you put this color over it. Um, I'm really happy with that. Okay. Let's take that crinkly thing away. Oh, I've got a little bit down here. Did not want to do that. All right. We're going to see if I can get this to not glare and show it to you. Really hard to, it either glares on the acetate or it glares on the color of the, let's take that out. And there's the back, which now that I look at it, needs a little bit of touch up too. So okay. Okay. Alrighty. Now there's another little place. I think I could probably sit here and find little bits that need to be recoated all day. So I probably need to just say that's good and Call it done. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to call it good. Alrighty. There we go. Hope you like it, Laurie. And you'll see me again soon for working on the signatures. God bless you and have a great evening.